tech challenges this morning. But good morning, GM.
Good morning.
GM.
Oh,
Welcome to the Good News Show. I'm Rachel
okay, so
Wilkins.
we need
This is
a
my
instruction
co-host,
sheet.
Rad Falcon, but she just needs to unmute.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yes. Woo!
We got it. We need or not we. I need an instruction sheet.
No, we need a tech assistant is what we need. Because you and I are ridiculous. But we made it here. That's what matters.
We made it. Just my head's down and my phone like, how do I do this thing? Oh my gosh.
All right, so we're going to try. Let me see how we can do this. Okay, folks, as you know, we're not quite there yet with the tech, but we're going to do our best to get this going. Now, I think potentially, what's our plan with bringing people up here? How are we going to handle this?
I don't know. I'm like the last person you should ask about. I have an internal IT department of Danko and handles all of these IT issues. Maybe he should be co-host one day and then he'll figure it all out and then
oh my gosh,
create that process would be super for us.
Fun. Well, how about this? I'm going to get the news pinned up in the Twitter space.
Got it.
You want to just give
you want me to start going?
Yeah, just give a quick housekeeping.
Well, welcome. Housekeeping. Welcome, everyone. This is the Good News Show. We are a hot mess. And we are currently putting out a dumpster fire. If you want to see us, in IRL, faces, not IRL, but faces, you can see us streaming from the Unlonely app on Farcaster. Is that right?
I guess.
I mean, people saw us last time. Over 100 people somewhere.
We have faces, apparently.
We have faces right now. Yeah. So if you're on Farcaster, I think you can see us there and on Unlonely.
Yep, looks like we're Wait, are we live? Are we live? It looks like we're live. Folks on Unlonely, if you're watching us, can you let us know if we are actually live?
If we are live and you can see us, tell me what I'm doing right now.
You're like whooping? Like, I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either. I'm just trying to have my hands show in front of my blur screen.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we should try this today. So let's see if... Oh no, that's going to be too difficult because everybody needs to know what to do. But if you want to come up on the stage, here's the deal. You also have to come onto the video stream.
Yes.
Okay, and the way that you do that, let me know if you want to do that, and I will send you a link. But this is what we've just gone through. When you join the video stream, you have to actually mute the tab, not mute the in the session, but mute the tab.
Yeah. So at the top of your browser, there, if you're using, I'll do it for you so you can continue. So because Rachel just helped me fish instead of giving me fish. If you go to the top of your Chrome tab, you'll see File, Edit, View, History, Bookmarks, Profiles, and then Tab. And if you click on the tab, you can pull down to Mute Site. And so the reason you want to do that is so that you don't get this horrific echo and that launches us into the quantum realm. So you want to mute the site, but you want to keep your volume on for I'm pointing to my ears in case you think you can see me. Keep your volume on Twitter, on X. Keep your volume on X, mute the site online, join the video call on Unlonely. And this is why we're at 808.
Join the video on StreamYard.
StreamYards.
Or who's counting?
StreamYards. You'll get a link from Rachel. Oh my goodness. Danko's in the room now. I'm sure he's just rolling on the floor.
There's got to be a more seamless way to do this. Right?
I feel like there is. If anybody's listening and has a more seamless way to do this, hit us in the DMs. Help. HALP. Help.
But it is a big day today. We have a solar eclipse coming today, this afternoon on the East Coast. Tons of news. We are coming off of a crazy few days at NFT NYC. So if you have any recaps or you want to share anything, definitely drop it into the chat. As we mentioned, we may struggle to get people on the stage in the Twitter space today just because we are still testing this out and we don't want people on the video to be like, what the hell is happening here? But I
like
feel
half
like we
the
will
people on
find
the
a
video
way.
not speaking.
Yeah. We're not quite there yet, but here we are.
Building in real time. Building in real
Yes.
time. Yeah, and you know what? We would love for you to join us and also see us, because you know what? I had to wake up at 6 a.m. to do all my things and also put on makeup so I don't scare children. So please watch the video
We
for all
appreciate
the
you getting up
lifting.
this early. And GM Ron Smith, I see you in the comments on the video. GM to everybody else who's watching the video, all 12 of you, all
Yes.
12 people.
Woo!
We are glad that you're spending your morning with us. Let's try and get the video pinned up to the top of the Twitter space. Maybe that's a good place to start.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
And folks, if you're here, please give the space a quick retweet. I think everybody's a little, maybe people are still in bed this morning.
Mercury is in retrograde also.
Oh, damn it.
So we've got that. And then also, who knows who got the Poe app from NFT NYC. So
yeah,
people
somehow I managed to not get the Poe app, but it seems my wife might have the Poe app.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ugh,
so
the worst Poe
a gift that keeps on giving. All right, let's try and get into this. Hold on one second. Let me pull up the intro.
Do you want me to do an intro for myself while you're doing that?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, I'm Rad Laser Falcon. I work as a creative director and brand strategist for enterprise and also as a fine art consultant. Since 2021, I've worked with large generative NFT projects and prominent artists. Way before Web3, I led a fully remote creative agency for over 15 years, and I worked with clients you may have heard of, from Oprah, W Hotels, Adidas, etc., and smaller companies championing social good, some that were even using blockchain. I've won a host of international awards for my work, and I've been featured in publications such as Brand Week, Ad Week, and the Best of US Advertising, to name a few. But I am most passionate about helping people and the promise of equity that building the Web3 community brings. I'm a frequent contributor to conferences and panels for Web3, and I've co-produced many educational events for Web3 in LA. You can find me on all the things as Rad Laser Falcon.
Amazing. I love that new intro.
Maybe one day I'll say it without stumbling.
You nailed it. You
nailed it. Okay.
Well, since we're doing intros, I'm Rachel Wilkins. I am a proud member of the TIMEPieces Community Council, managing partner of Audio Galleries, and co-founder of Artiversity. And over the last decade, I've had the pleasure of supporting over 8,000 artists across 16 cities throughout the US and in Europe with my company Conception Arts. And I still very much believe in the power of creators and innovators in shaping our world here in Web3. And as an advisor, I specialize in Web3 strategy for a select group of for-profit and nonprofit organizations. And I've actively promoted Web3 at prestigious institutions like UCLA and the New Museum. And in 2022, I launched The Good News Show, driven by a passion to spotlight and celebrate those that are forging a positive path in this extraordinary new technology ecosystem that we find ourselves in. So folks, if this is your first time at The Good News Show, a big warm welcome. What is it all about? Well, The Good News Show is, let's see, where's my little script? Where's my scripty script?
I love your intro. You put some smoke on that, man. That's, yeah, like bringing it.
Well, my coffee is still very much in my cup, and I've reheated it 3 times. So this is an indication
it denim coffee?
How today's going.
Is it Web3 denim coffee by any chance?
No, I actually have Dunkin' this morning. I'm not proud.
Well, I think we need to get this woman some more denim coffee.
Well, I think what we need to do, honestly, and I was thinking about this when I was walking Frank this morning, is we need to get a move on and get our Good News brews going.
Oh, yes.
Do a partnership with Denim for our subscribers where they can get a discounted cup of Good News brews in the morning.
Love it.
Yeah, I think that would be super fun. So, but we'll get there. Let's see. Okay, so Good News Show. Anybody else feeling the post-New York I don't want to say hangover because I don't drink, but body hangover.
Superama
Anyway, so
is like thumbs upping the 100% sign. And we also have Sweet Baby Jeebus, who was there. We have JJ Weinberg, who was there. Who else? Give a thumbs up if you were at NFT NYC. Yeah, we have Superama here.
Who I got to hug. She's awesome.
Ah, yes. Amazing. Man, missed all my friends. Got to like live vicariously through all the awesome posts. I need to put together, now that I'm in the Pacific Northwest, I need to put together NFT PNW.
Oh my gosh. Well, they do have NFT Seattle.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, but it's like, what? Is it like Five Guys in an IHOP? Like, what is that?
All right, let's see if this works. I just joined the space as me. Now,
okay, I see you.
Some crazy audio loop.
I'm going to add you as a speaker.
All right. I'm muted, so let me stay muted. But hopefully this doesn't interfere with the video feed. If it does, folks, let us know.
So and then we had some
where you're just going to watch Rad and I stumble around technology for an hour every Monday morning.
But we're going to talk about Web3 news.
We could.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like Patsy and Eddie vibes here this morning. All right.
We just need to fall out of a car a few times and eat copious snacks. And go to what is that place? Harvey Nichols. What is it called? Harvey.
Oh, where they go shopping?
Shopping? Is it Harvey Nichols?
They go to Harvey Nicks, darling. Harvey Nicks.
Harvey Nicks.
Yes.
Harvey Nicks, darling.
Darling.
And then they do this with their hair. Darling. La Croix.
Just watch out. Next week, Rad and I are going to show up dressed as Patsy and Eddie.
I have the clothes to do it.
All right, so good news show. Here's the deal. We were not going to have a show today. I was supposed to be taking the week off, but now I'm going to take next week off. So we are doing a show, but we don't have a special guest. So we're just going to do news. We're going to just do a roundup of news, see how that goes. We're testing out new formats to see what the needs are with this whole video versus audio. But let us know where you're joining from in the comments. Let us know if you have any good news or anything exciting going on that you would like to share. We will either pin it to next or drop it in the comments. But the good news show is we started the show basically in 2022, right in the middle of the FTX crisis. And Rad came up with a great, I guess, description of what we are. What are we, Rad?
What, good news?
Together already? I'm going to show you the sticky on the video, but Frank ate it.
So we're Fudbusters. We're freaking Fudbusters. That's what we are. Like the TLDR.
Shoot by Frank, if you're watching the video. We are Fudbusters.
Fudbusters. So what does that mean? We were like, okay, everything, people love all these like spaces where everybody just sits around and they complain and they like spread, I don't know, all the weird rumors and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, well, like we came to Web3 for something different, right? Like that's a whole point of being here. We came for something different to get away from, the powers that be, the corporate this, we came for a place of like positivity and opportunity, right? And then it's so funny that everybody wants to step in poo and drag it in the house with them. It's like, no. This is a new house. Take your shoes off. This is a clean space. And so that's a hashtag Fudbusters. Amazing. So that's what we wanted to do. And so we wanted to create a space where like we were going to support each other and we were going to like talk about like all the awesome stuff that's happening. Because it gets lost in the dumb hype, like how much time was wasted by talking about FTX that could have been talking about growth, that could have been talking about new tech, that could have been talking about making connections with folks and talking about what's possible and like blue skying what we already had. But like think about the hundreds and hundreds of hours that were wasted in like kvetching. Like It's
Are you
just,
throwing in the Yiddish word there?
yeah, that's it. I'm not Jewish,
Very
but I'm like honorary because I know a
I have
little Yiddish.
I love the Yiddish words. I'm not Jewish either, but my wife is
So
Jewish,
good.
and I have a lot of Jewish friends, and they have such great,
Such
real,
good words.
gritty, descriptive words for things. I
Like
love it.
zhuzh
Zhuzh.
is the zhuzh, and
Yeah.
kvetch, and
So-
verkakt, and like
So-
like all of the feelings that you need in a word are thrown into those syllabic, conglomerates of just
I love it.
that's what I need.
I love it. So yeah, this is the Funbuster show. Usually we would have a special guest, but today we're just going to unpack the latest tech headlines, engage in thought-provoking discussions, and as we said, if you do want to come up, we can still make this happen, but you do have to come up and be on video as well. So
get out of your PJs.
What is it?
Get out of your PJs or not.
I am not. The most I did was put on a little bit of lipstick and my GM necklace. That's about all. I'm still.
My PJs are so luxurious lately. I've gotten into this weird hoarding of luxurious PJs. I told Daco I'm in my Hugh Hefner phase now, because they're all because I have to travel oftentimes, and I have this fear that I'm going to end up in a hotel and the fire alarm's going to go off, and I'm going to come out in like my Pratt sweatshirt and some terrible boxer shorts. I don't want to stand in the street like that. I want to stand in the street like I just got out of like champagne brunch, Oh my
gosh. That actually happened to me once. I was staying in this really not so great hotel for a work event.
Yeah.
And I was like, time to kill. I was like, I'm going to take a nice bath. And the fire alarms went off while I was in the bath.
Oh no, that's my
awesome.
worst fear.
Yeah, I was like one of those people stood outside in a robe. That was fun.
When I'm in a hotel, I'm like, I take the shower as fast as I can. Anything that would like be like, oh, I might have to like, what is this? It must be like PTSD for being in New York in 9/11 or whatever. Because it was like all the things. It was like the anthrax thing, the 9/11 thing, the blackout thing. It was just like,
One of
fire
those
drill.
I want to hear what everybody's like scary, funny, not so funny hotel stories are. One of my worst experiences was I was on antibiotics and I'd gone out for a weekend with friends. And so because I couldn't drink, I decided to drink Red Bull. And it was those really early days before we really knew that Red Bull was like a bucket of caffeine. And so I'd had about 7 of them. And we got to our hotel and we checked into our room, and it was an internal room. So it didn't have any windows.
Oh no.
I was so jacked up on caffeine and so convinced that I was like in the Matrix that
simulation.
Yeah, that I had to leave. I was like, I can't do it. Nope.
I would be levitating if I had even one of those freaking things. Okay, let's read the news.
All right, let's do it. I'm just trying to tweet and do all the things, but real quick. So if anybody does want to come up, I see some of our friends in the audience, and we would love to have you participate. You can do 1 or 2 things. You can come and join us on camera, and we can see your beautiful face, or you can come and join the live stream and just have your camera off, but then be able to participate and speak in the Twitter space as well. So it's just so our video viewers can actually hear what's going on.
Because otherwise we have to like do the thing like if you're in a conference and somebody like asks a question like, and then the speaker like answers it and you're like, what are we even talking about? And that happened last time. So
could I just drop the stream link in the chat and see if anybody joins?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, you go with the news. I'll do that.
Okay, so the news. We don't read the intro. Yeah, we just go right into it. So Spotify is getting into AI, y'all. This is like pretty interesting, pretty exciting. So Spotify's innovative leap, AI-powered playlist tailored by your prompts. So Spotify introduces a transformative feature allowing users to generate personalized playlists through AI based on unique prompts. This cutting-edge tool, initially rolling out in the UK and Australia, we don't get it yet, understands a wide array of requests, enabling users to curate music for any moment, mood, or scenario. Leveraging large language models for nuanced understanding, Spotify crafts playlists reflective of individual tastes and preferences, further refining the music streaming experience. This move underscores Spotify's ongoing commitment to using AI to enhance user engagement and personalize the listening journey. Okay, so how often does Spotify serve up what you like? You know what I mean? When you do it on the Discover thing,
Mhm.
do you? What's your batting average? Because I'm curious, will this be good?
I feel like it's hit and miss, right? Like
Me
some
too.
days you're like, yes, you
Some
got
days I'm like,
it.
where was this song my whole life? And other days I'm like, you don't even know me.
You
Like
don't. How long have we been together?
How
You
long
don't
have we
even
been
know me.
together?
Yeah, it's. I
Exactly.
totally. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this pans out.
Yeah,
For sure.
I would imagine from a business standpoint, because that's why they serve up that magic discovery thing, is they're trying to, well, number one, if you put your thing on shuffle, you'll notice you get a lot of the same songs over and over and over and over again. And that is probably because they have like stronger contracts with those artists or whatever. Because like I have some songs that I deeply love by like nobody artists, and I have to manually go in and play them because they will never play them, even though I've played them a million times. So obviously, the algorithm is not serving my preferences; it's serving what is marketable for them. But so I'm wondering if this is further drilling into that as well, or if it will really, really actually serve your preferences.
Okay.
What do you think?
No. Pause for 1 second.
Pause
We
it.
got someone in the studio. Say hi.
Yes.
No, let's see. Nate, I think you gotta actually join.
No, it's Nate. Yes. Woo!
Sorry, surprise. But what's up, Nate?
Yay!
Hey.
Hi.
Now here's the thing, Nate. Unless
can you
you
hear me
join
okay?
the stage on the Twitter space, we can't hear you.
Yeah. We can't hear you. Other people can hear you in the stream.
Why don't we do this? Why don't you tell us about your NFT NYC takeaways to the video, and you can tell people who are watching the live stream, and we'll just talk amongst ourselves over here. No, just kidding.
Because he's on the phone, so he can't do. Because that's how we're able to do it. We can do both.
Okay. So what do I have to do? I have to go to Twitter and join. Are you can hear me at all, or no sound?
No, we can't hear you on the stream unless you join the Twitter space.
So I got to get on my laptop.
So you have to do two
things.
We should have said that. Like,
hold on.
Yeah, so you have to have a desktop and a phone to do this.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
I think that makes more sense, right?
But we're really happy to see Nathan, and we
see your face.
Yeah, you can talk. We just won't be able to hear you, and then everybody else will be able to on the stream.
I'm so confused, but let me go get my computer and bring it back out here. I'm trying not to disturb my wife who's on a call, so I'm going to drop down and then I'll come back. So bye, and then I'm going to come back. Okay.
I think he's saying he's going to come back.
Oh, yes. He's going to come back.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Bear with us.
That was really fun, though.
It is really fun to see some familiar faces popping in. We're trying to get a hold on this like live streaming video to various.
Danko could do it. I know he's in front of a phone but like no pressure. He's like, oh, woman, shut your mouth. He could do it. He could do it to show others that it's possible.
Yeah, and I think we just need to. Super Rama says, "I'd love to come up, but I don't have a voice." Yeah, I think a few of us are feeling that today. So let's talk about Spotify, and then let's talk about NFT NYC because I have some I'd love to share. Oh, Ron said he's going to get his laptop. Perfect.
Yay, Ron!
All right,
we love Ron.
Thanks, Ron. So what do you think of this? You were talking about the impact of this on businesses and brands. Like, do you think this is a good tool for potentially for advertisers to kind of do curated playlists for certain client targets?
Yeah, I mean, I think what could be interesting about that is just also gaining like more insight, like about AI tools. Like, is this working? Because you're getting a whole user group who's going to be reacting to this, like either skipping a song or giving feedback. So I feel like part of this too, they potentially could be selling this data, and I shouldn't say potentially, they're selling this data when they roll this out to AI developers. I'm sure of it. To say like, okay, here's millions and millions of beta testers who can give you feedback on, are these language models working? Are they effective? Like, are you getting real time response? I mean, that's part of the thing with AI and large language models right now, is that it's like kind of clunky. They're not getting that responsiveness. And if they are able to get that responsiveness, it's not, it seems to me in my observation, not as rich. And so I think that, and also I foresee a future, in the very short term, of, because we have tools like Spotify jumping into AI, we've got like the old juggernauts of like Google, who's been in AI for, 30 years, probably at this point, that we're going to just have this acceleration, this like crazy acceleration. And I could see AI curating all kinds of things that are bespoke for you. So maybe it starts with Spotify and it's this music list, but maybe it starts to become like customer service, like where you go, hey, I can't handle listening to hold music. That is going to drive me insane. So I'd rather listen to an audiobook, or I'd rather listen to, instructions on how to use this product, or like whatever. Like, I just can foresee like a really customized experience for everybody. Like, maybe go ahead.
Do you ever worry about that though? That the more customized that we make things, the less we allow in to be influenced by new things. Like if we become so tailored and so curated to our current desires and likes, do we just become blinkered, and like we don't get to have those aha, wow, oh my gosh, I'm so moved experiences?
Yes. And I personally try to subvert that in my daily life. So here's an example of how I do this, and I recommend this to everybody. Use Waze to go places that you know how to go. And I'll tell you why. Because almost every time I use Waze to go place, I absolutely know how to get there. It can redirect me to places that I haven't been. And I discovered so many things in New York, LA, and all kinds of places where I know exactly where I'm going, but I still use Waze because it's like, ooh, I'm going past like Little Armenia. I didn't know there's a place there, blah, 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 and I'm like, so excited by it. So I think and that's why a lot of times I turn these things off, like the Discover and things like that, because I feel like I'll discover, Danko and I will watch a movie and he's constantly Shazamming. Shazam, Shazam, Shazam. Like every, he's
a thing.
Oh, he's Shazam's every freaking song.
Wait, I'm going to Shazam Nate to the stage. Hold on. He's back in. All right,
Yay!
Nate, let's try this. You're going to unmute in the space.
Okay, so now you can hear me.
Yes.
Oh,
did you mute tab on the
browser?
Okay.
No.
Yes.
No, but he's now muted. He's muted in the stream.
You got to unmute on the StreamYard.
Stream. Yes.
Okay.
That mute tab at the top where it says Profiles tab window, and you pull down to under Duplicate tab. It says Mute Site.
It's not on the browser. It's on the desktop.
Yeah, at the top where you see Chrome, File, Edit, View, History, Bookmarks, Profiles.
Yeah. I go to
tab, and then pull down to Mute Site.
Mute Site.
Yeah, then other people won't hear if you don't want to, or I don't know if your volume's like up or whatever.
So how is that? Is that
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Amazing. All right, let us know, folks, in the comments if there's any feedback. But I think we're good. So, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm really sad I missed you somehow.
I know.
In NYC.
We crossed paths, I think. We saw the same people, but not each other.
Yeah, right. There was just so much going on. It was really, I think it was hard to not have FOMO while you were participating in everything. It was, yeah.
What was your what were your takeaways or your favorite moments?
Oh, I mean, as always, the people. It was just so great to connect with a lot of people I'd seen before because I'm very fortunate that I've been able to go to other live events. But getting to meet a lot of artists that I had not seen or had seen briefly and not had a chance to have a meaningful conversation. I deliberately tried to make more time for smaller conversations
Mhm.
and to not try to attend too many really huge events.
Yeah.
I still managed not to sleep and barely eat the entire time somehow as well, though. So I'm extremely tired and way behind on work. I've already been up since 4 a.m. though, so got to get right back at it. But I mean, there was so much amazing art, and I feel like the non-convention portions were really, really ready to host a lot of people and a lot of amazing art. And I think in particular, like the Canal Street show was incredible. Loom did a great job of having just so many shows and turning over those shows each day. So there was new stuff and having people back. So kind of word got out, I think, as the week went on, like where were great shows and great venues and spaces. Then there were like little places. I was really excited to get to go to some smaller paint parties and just hang out and talk to some artists that I have not and have really great conversations. And that for me, that's what it's all about. I missed out on some amazing lectures, I know, but that's was how I curated the event, but also allowed for a little bit of serendipity. And I shout out to JJ in the space
I am
for
so
bringing up
bummed
serendipity.
about JJ. Is he still here? Oh, I think he left.
No,
I think-
he left.
Oh, he left.
Because
All right.
I was doing the live show with Brock, which was kind of a hot mess because I was at the convention center because I didn't realize I was speaking that day until like the night before.
Oh, wow.
So I was doing the live Super Chain show with Brock, and JJ came over and was like, "Hey!" And I was like, "I'm live!" And they're like, "You mentioned us at times." So I was so bummed I didn't actually get to hug him, but he's such a joy. But
Yeah.
it was
And I missed Wall Plug, so I see him in the crowd. Wall Plug, I know that
I got
he's gonna
to
think I'm a
Wall
stalker
Plug.
now, trying to see him all the time. But
I
somehow
saw
we're in
it.
New York and we still have yet to run into each other. But shout out to Wall Plug because he was there.
Yeah. I think this year was well. It kind of saddens me the conference because it has so much potential to be something really spectacular. They have one of the best venues in the city. They have just amazing venue, amazing infrastructure to do something special, but just no attendees. And I felt really bad for the speakers because there's some people put a lot of time and energy into putting their speeches together, and I think unfortunately, because there is so much good quality content going on around town, people are just not willing to pay for, a $300-400 ticket. And I think, and not that I'm telling anybody how to run a business, but if there was a way to bring all of those satellite events into that venue and just make it kind of like NFT Paris or NFT Lisbon, where it's just under one roof, we could all save money on Ubers. It poured with rain all week, so we could all stay dry. And we could actually just, build a really solid, supportive kind of community event.
So can I ask you why you think it is that I have theories, but what do you think it is that they're failing to see that opportunity and to actualize that?
I have theories.
Oh,
Go for
I
it.
have theories.
I
think,
do
yeah.
too, and I'm not throwing FUD. I think that I don't necessarily think the intent is there for I'm going to be careful. I think it's more of a sponsor consideration event. I don't necessarily think that it's there to drive the community forward. I could be wrong, but I just don't see any outreach or for example, I was asked to moderate, and it was a complimentary position. Right? There was no compensation, and I had asked in lieu of the compensation, would you be willing to give me a screen where I could display artists? And they said no.
What?
So, no FUD. I think they did a lot of things well, but I also, to me, that doesn't say this is about community. This is about supporting and championing others. But
Yeah,
this is a good news show, though.
I think
good news is also helping make suggestions on how to improve, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
Uplifting.
Like
I think
I want it to succeed. I really do. I hope that it continues to go to be here each year. Otherwise, what a shame for all those speakers that put time and effort in. But
Yeah.
there's got to be something has to change because the attendance was not good.
I think too that it may be, and I don't know anything about it, but I think it could be who, if you are a person who's used to putting on conferences, you may have just one way of thinking about conferences. And so I think that they may be stuck in a little bit of a conference feedback loop as opposed to some of these other like NFT Paris and Lisbon. I don't think that those are like your traditional conference people probably putting these things on. Do you know what I mean? I also think that in my observation, European countries have a mindset, just a different mindset than Americans, in that they are like a little bit more scrappy and dig into stuff. Like, oh, let's try this. Like I'm saying culturally, my observation in business, dealing with Europeans in business can oftentimes be a little bit like, well, let's just like try this, let's try that. And you're like, you'll work with people like that in America and you're like, oh, we can't do that. Like, we have a structure, we have a pecking order, like everything's like very like power oriented, power structure oriented. And I think that may be what's at play. Like, I've worked with a number of different conferences, like with title sponsors, for many years. And so in dealing with like those top tier level conference organizers, can we do this? No. Can we do this? No. Can we, like, conferences that have been around for like, 20 years, like they will not change. It's almost like trying to turn a tanker, it's like, and so I feel like some of these other conferences are more like speedboats. So I think it might just be a mindset, not even throwing shade at like, oh, is this, an extractive viewpoint, or is it like, and it may be very, very, very sponsor oriented. But I think at the same time, it's probably people who are like legacy conference creators who just have always done it this way and they cannot think of a different way to do it. If any of those people are listening or anybody knows those people, reach out to somebody who worked at Summit Series, because that is one of the most spectacular American conferences you will ever go to. They have like everything's encapsulated in one campus. They have hotels that are a part of the thing. All of the side events and everything are curated around that whole campus structure. And they just take over like 6 city blocks in LA is what they did for many, many years. And then you can go to yoga and meditation and go to parties and all the food's included, everything. Not one person is leaving that place. Nobody is leaving Summit.
Like that in a way, though, even though there was still pop-up events, it was like, you didn't really feel like you needed to leave the conference to see people. Like, people would be there at some point during the day. But I feel like this time, like I'd say 80% of the people that I wanted to see did not have a conference ticket and had no interest in going. So that's a problem, right? And again, I think everything we're saying here is like constructive, and we would like welcome the opportunity to like help with this and give advice, because we want this event to succeed. But it starts to become really inaccessible and without any clear motivation to be able for people to want to go. But we are FUD busters, not FUD contributors. So,
well,
Nate,
I mean,
any other stand-up moments, Nate?
It just the people in the art. I mean, even though it was raining and miserable, everyone had a smile on their face as soon as they shook off the water when they got inside. So it was just really tremendous. And the Hug Fest was really, I thought, excellently done. I'm super bummed I didn't get in town for the One DAO event the night before at the same spot down in Canvas 3.0. I was a little worried that there were so many people going to Hug Fest because it's a small. Because I was like, I've been there with Rachel and her wife.
I was like, I don't want to stand in a line for 3 hours like you and I did for the
yeah. Well, it was it was a shorter line than when we were there for that event.
Really?
Yeah, and they did a good job of circulating it. It was filled, but not over ticket capacity. And I think it's because they set such a wide span of time for it.
Yeah,
that helped alleviate it. So it was definitely much better than I was expecting, just size wise. I mean, crowd wise, I guess. So that was really great, and it was a central place that everyone seemed to go. So I did run into a lot of people there. I would have stayed longer if I didn't have dinner plans. So that was really good. the Canal Street show was really awesome. And then Skojo, a friend of the show, hosted 2 different nights at his apartment, little intimate painting parties. He had like a bunch of artists come over and threw canvases up on the wall, and just got to watch people paint and talk and have conversations. Like
That's
small
so
group,
cool.
10 people. It was very nice, and that was the Lower East Side. But New York's really hard, to have a lot of events happen and not miss some, because it's just so long. I missed some, like Rachel Wood's show. I was on the other side of town, and it was that like 5 o'clock time when it was just a torrential worst
Oh
of
my
the
God, it's so
storm.
bad.
There were no cars to be had. You couldn't get. It was like 40
I
minutes for
camped
an
out.
Uber.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
camped out at Dos Caminos for 2 hours. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
I went to
You're-
the Claire Silver show, and then I was like, nope, I am here until this rain stops.
What was the coolest like technology wise thing that you guys both saw? Did you have like that one of these moments where you're like, holy cow, how did they do that? Or wow, I want to use this myself. Was there moments like that for you too?
Yeah, I for me it was the 9DCC event. First of all, that event was they did a pop up. This is my 9DCC hat. They did a little pop up in Soho. There was a line. I think there was a line outside like the entire time. But what was really cool, so I got this in Paris, and I didn't really know what to do with it, like other than wear it. But it has an NFC chip in it, and they had a team. When you went in, there was a big 9 on the wall, and there was a team there, and you could tap the 9, and the first 200 people to tap that each day would get 2,500 DGen. Which is a couple $100, right? So I still don't know if I got it, but what was really cool was they had people on site to actually show you how the app functions. They now have an app called the Nines, where it's like a social networking app that's connected through the product that you own, so you can see everybody that has the hat. And yeah, it was a really cool experience. I need to dive a little deeper into it, but I thought that was a really cool way to kind of reward participation and get people to actually show up and use the tech, because there's this financial reward. So yeah, that was probably one of my favorites.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
I'm so into NFC chips. Can we please? I'm like screaming them from the rooftops, especially for artists, because it's like NFC chip about the work, how it was created, the materials, like a little bio about the artist. Like it's the coolest thing ever. Like, you know what I mean? And like it's one of those surprise things, like where you could just be walking up with your phone, like, oh, what's I'm going to take a picture, and then all of a sudden it goes, whoop, comes to life. I think that could be really cool, and you can always like update the content too, so which keeps the work alive. Especially if it's part of a larger collection, you can go, oh, okay, well, this is one in a series of 5 or whatever. There's all this kind of like robust things that really can add value as a viewer through things like that, and also in clothing and all kinds of stuff. I think it's a really cool technology that not enough people are exploring. How about you, Nate? What did you see that blew your mind technology wise?
Technology-wise, there were a couple things that I thought were really fun to experience. And Loom Studios, again, they had their first floor, and I think this might be where 9DCC had their event. Actually, was right in that same area.
Yeah. By the way, does anybody know why it's called 9DCC?
No.
9 decentralized community or something.
I thought it was some like clever word play, but it's actually the last 4 digits of the wallet.
Oh, it's like nothing. It's like that's so funny.
What does it mean?
Oh,
that's cool.
So now you know.
Yeah,
that's funny.
The space inside there was really neat in that they had the entire walls were the screens, so they were projections.
Cool.
So you could have, there was a lecture I saw with Empress Trash and man, I'm so bad with names, several other people, where they had just artwork rotating on the entire walls. And I know that Vincent D'Onofrio and Lawrence had a performance there where it was so it's very immersive. You're in the room and all the walls are the image and they move around without them actually being digital screens. So it's projection, but using digital imagery on that. And I saw Creatress performing at a comedy club, and then the Laughing Apes performance stand-up stuff, I thought was really just, a nice way to bring a different take into the NFT community, which I had not seen. So bring that, and always just amazing to see her performances live too, because that's very cool. Live performance, drawing in digital virtual space in front of you is fun.
Yeah, like you can be part of it, which I think is so cool. That's like the other thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, who is it? What's a guy? Something about cats where I'm blanking on the name too. So many cats. What's the artist's name? But he's doing art every single day, but then when you buy the art, you also get the time-lapse process video, but the art is with VR. So it's like he's creating a little bit like Creatress, but it's
Eaten
like
by cats? Is it Eaten by Cats?
Eaten by Cats, yeah. I think that's it. Yeah.
That one.
So
very cool guy.
Very cool. Like I don't know the person personally, but so he's doing I think he's doing a painting every single day, and then when you mint the painting, and I'm probably getting this all wrong, but when you mint the painting, then you also get like a time-lapse process video that I think you can use VR to be like, oh, you're in it too. And he like shows his hands in VR. So you can see his hands, and he's like throws paint and all that kind of stuff too. So it's a really kind of fun immersive experience that I think is pretty cool. But again, I don't know much. I shouldn't even mention things I don't know much about, but something to look into.
I will say one of the things that like blew my mind. I went to the Claire Silver event, the Accelerate Art event. Well, one thing that was not so great about Accelerate this weekend was they got hacked. I don't know whether anyone saw that. Their Twitter account got hacked, so that was really unfortunate because they were having such a great. But I heard Eric Snowfro speak at that event, and he was talking about generative furniture. And
what?
Yeah, my head kind of almost blew off with this conversation. He was talking about how the future we're going to crave so much individualism to the point where we won't want a couch that's in somebody else's house. Or he used a story about how he has a child, and whenever he goes to a child's birthday party and he brings a gift, he knows pretty much for sure that somebody else will have bought that same gift for that kid, because there's just not a whole host of different Lego sets to buy a kid, right? There's like 5. And so he was saying, in the future, there's experiences that will be one-of-ones for everything. Like you could go into a store and you could generate a couch that doesn't exist, or generate a Lego set that will never be replaced. And that was just like, what?
Yeah, but people will be like, oh, you had a couch everybody else had?
Yeah.
I'm sad for you.
What?
That's great.
You had a phone with a cord and a couch everybody else had. Sad.
Isn't that right? What's your spicy take on that, Rad?
I think we're gonna have 2 things. I think we're gonna have all this like crazy customization, and then I think we'll have the nostalgia for the things that everybody else had, because I think that we're always chasing unique. And that's the thing that we have to remember. We're always chasing unique and exclusive. And so technology can deliver that for us, and then preservation can as well. And so I think that that's something that we should be thinking about as we push forward into this like crazy futurist mindset. Are we preserving the things that are not going to be part of this technological future? Because those will be like, the other day, this is super off topic, but it blew my mind. So I don't know. Maybe you can remember, Nate, but during the 90s, there was this like trend where girls would wear sweaters like this and put a pin, a brooch, like a vintage brooch from like the 50s or 40s or even earlier. I saw like Art Nouveau ones. Right here. I was on a ferry and I see this girl who's like all 90s dressed, and she did that. She had this brooch, and I was like saying to Danko, I'm like, do you remember this? He's like, I don't remember this trend. I'm like, it was so huge for girls in the 90s, and I couldn't even find it on the internet. And this girl had dug it up someplace. I spent like probably another good 20 minutes on the ferry trying to doing a Google image search, trying to find any evidence of this trend, because it was so huge. I think I even had like a picture of myself in 3rd grade doing this like stupid thing. And I asked her, so where'd you find that? She's like, I don't know. I just thought it was cute. I'm like, no, you found that somewhere. That's such a weird thing to do. But, you know, like stuff like that will be artifacts that we will completely at some point lose. And I think we'll especially lose them because when we start curating the ways that we find information or create new things, it will probably be AI, which that AI will just hit a feedback loop at some point and we'll probably lose what, like all of that other stuff as we sunset data storage and we sunset things like that are in like the Wayback Machine, because
Wait
a lot of
a
us
minute.
are not.
Fred, we have someone called Fred in the studio. Hold on, you might know.
Fred. Okay, I don't
Hi,
know.
Fred.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! All right, folks in the
Yes.
Twitter space, you're missing out right now because
Yeah,
we
I
have
just
Matt.
wanted to make a comment.
Matt, the way you do it is you need to be in the Twitter space and with your audio on.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
have-
is he in Twitter? I don't see him in the Twitter space.
Not yet, but we're gonna make this happen. Look at
It's
this.
worthwhile. This is really fun.
It is fun, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that we can actually like get people in because it's such a big part of the show.
Okay, I added Matt as a speaker.
Okay.
We got him
So we can make
in.
this happen.
Fred. We added Fred.
Fred Nixon is with us.
Fred
today.
Nixon. Fred
is back from
Mixon.
his travels.
What's that?
Yes.
Yes.
This is janky, by the way.
It is You should
So,
have seen
you
us
have
trying
to
get on here.
mute your tab at the top. So go to Chrome at the top,
There we go.
file, edit.
How's that?
Yeah. Yes.
Done.
Good.
Okay.
Got it.
So weird. Okay.
Uh,
No, I just wanted to make a comment. You keep making me come on video. You keep sending me links to come on here. Hi, Nathan, by the way.
Hey, good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man. Sorry I wasn't there. I tried, but I probably would have been in the hospital after my last couple weeks of travel if I tried to make New York too. So, but no, I just wanted to make a comment about the whole Snowfro thing. Like you were talking about individualization. I don't think it may go that far, but it will swing back because people want to be part of something. People want to be part of a community. They want to be that's why we show up here, right?
Yeah.
And while we all want to be part of a community, there's a reason that people buy PFPs or they buy into a project. Yes, they like the art, but they also want to be part of a club. They want to be part of something. And I think that like when you talk about kids and their Legos is a good example, you can make custom Lego sets every time, right? Of every kid wanted to do their own thing. And that would be cool to a degree, but at the same time, like Star Wars fans want to make the Millennium Falcon of 12 billion pieces or whatever. So I think there's you're going to see so much psychology and sociology play out in real time in the next 10 years because of what AI does to us, just like social media did to us. If you look back on that, would you have ever expected social media to have the impact, especially on your kids, that it did? Like, I think you're going to see that with AI. So
13-year-olds
only
with
comment I wanted to
Botox.
make.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had that on my bingo card before social media.
Yeah, exactly. I have to run to a meeting in a minute, but that's
Oh,
all this.
no.
I know. I'm sorry.
Fred, come on.
I know. I'm going to Vegas today. If anybody's in Vegas,
We're
come
gonna
say
make
hi.
this
So,
more user
I know,
friendly.
it's like you have like, you're racking up those frequent flyer miles, Matt. My goodness.
get my
I've read.
status back one way or the other. So, and Rachel, I'm coming to New York at the end of the month, so we will
Amazing.
find
It's
time.
very exciting.
So,
We
anyways,
must get together.
sorry for the disruption, but I just had a comment.
We appreciate you, Matt. Thanks for coming in, even though it's janky. We appreciate it.
Yay.
Safe travels.
I figured it out. Now it makes sense. They weren't syncing before, and it was confusing me. So,
Yeah.
anyways, all
And
right.
now we're gonna lose the symmetry, this nice like
I
quad
know.
symmetry.
Yeah.
I did ping Rhett to see if he wanted to join. I pinged a couple of people.
All right. Well, I will. Maybe next week. I'll be on the East Coast next week, so maybe I will
Let's
have
do
time
it.
to be a real participant next week. So,
That will be fun.
Yes.
All right. happy Monday.
Happy
Happy
Monday.
Monday.
See you, man.
Ah,
I'm gonna do a
Liquid
quick-
Nate did.
I did balloons somehow. I don't know.
What did you do? What did you do that?
Do that.
I could do fireworks sometimes on Zoom.
Quick reset for those that are either listening or watching. This is the Good News Show, and we are your
Oh.
destination for the latest in NFTs, blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, and AI, showcasing the positive transformations in the tech world. Make sure you are following Timepieces if you're listening on social audio, and the Good News account as well, if you can find it, because I make it really difficult to find the Good News Show account. But more about that later.
I'll put it in the
Make
chat.
sure to give the room a retweet and also follow our guests and speakers. And together we are building a movement to uplift innovation and the remarkable creators behind that innovation. So welcome. We are doing a little bit of a trial run from the last couple of weeks to see if we can both stream and be live on social audio. And we're getting there. And so a couple of shout outs. We have Ariel. Look at this. You can pin the comments on the video. How great is that? We have Ariel Barron Robbins, who is one of our amazing professors at University. She said she's going to a conference in Boulder and they're actually paying for her flight and hotel. Not sure about the attendance. 2024 Creative Vitality Summit. Yeah, can we just normalize conferences paying people to speak?
Whenever I do art
100%.
ones, I get an honorarium every time I do an art thing. It's usually like $300, you know, and it's like and they don't even
though, right? It helps.
It's something. I mean, it's not gonna like, you know, pay your mortgage, but it's like it's something that says I value your time, I value your participation.
Yep.
Your contribution is important to you know, this effort or whatever. And it's like really not that much, especially if you're getting sponsorship dollars. I think it's like crazy to not. Now, I will say in my own defense, because I've produced a bunch of Web3 events in LA, I never got paid myself for producing those events. And I used every single penny that I got from sponsorship dollars to make the events free for the participants, get catering, some food or something, and to bring in like in-kind sponsors so that people can just come and vibe and like have a good time, and like access the venues that like were paid venues and things like that. So if there was anything left over, I would have like 100% paid participants, but I produced like 12, I think, or more. And it is an incredible amount of work and I never got paid a penny. So if I would have paid everybody else besides me, and then maybe then I would have taken something at the tail end. But
well, it was
it's
the same
tough.
with us with the Blockchain for Social Good conference. I mean, we did 2 events, paid every speaker. You know, make sure those panels were representative of the people who are actually here doing the work. And it's amazing, but it's a grind, and there's no unfortunately there's no big sponsors wanting to throw money at it because it's not sexy to them. It's not, you know, it's
yet. You got to say the yet. You got to say the yet.
It's
one.
I hear it.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
One suggestion that they could do that I think is a very low lift for them is they could give people statements of credit of donation of hours, so that you can write it off as either
that's
a
great
you
idea.
can add it as an expense that you're in kind, not time in kind that you're donated. So sometimes you can do that for charities. We'll do that. Or if you do something out of goodwill, you can submit an invoice and say, this was how much of my time I donated to your event, and I'm gifting you the cost. But it is an important part of kind of like maintaining your business aspect of your career. So
that's a great idea, because you can write off. So like as a company, you get a greater write-off for promotion. So if you have a company, that's a really great write-off, is to like submit those hours as time, write it off, and line list it as promotion. If you're an individual, you get less of a write-off, but you get more if you're doing a donation to a 501c3. So that's something so genius, Nate, I never even thought of. So for those who want to participate in those kinds of things, those are the 2 scenarios. Not financial advice, talk to your accountant. But
I have a minute for that. Hold on. Hold, please.
Oh, for not financial advice?
For not financial advice. Not financial advice. But I think that's a great idea for those of us who are constantly being pegged for like panelists and conferences. You, Rachel, as a moderator, constantly like submit a non-billed invoice as in-kind donation or promo.
And I will say,
yeah.
to the point though, it is a balance. And, I grapple with this on a personal and professional level all the time, right? When you get an opportunity and it's great visibility, it enhances your profile. Like, it is really hard to say no. It was hard to say no to NFT NYC because, I'd be on a stage for a couple of hours and would be seen as somebody who's, an authority in the space. But I just cannot now, at this point in my 40s, maybe in my 20s, say I'm going to do a full day of conversation. Like, I just can't do it. But it is a balance. It is a balance. Like, I was asked to speak at a panel on Friday night for portraits of women in Web3. That, to me, it's rich dialogue. I got to share the stage with like amazing women. Diana Sinclair, one of just the most amazing creators in the space. And Nico Joy, somebody from Arsenal who was very much involved in bringing Deb Cass to the blockchain. Like, it's really wonderful human beings. That to me is like it's a richness. It adds something to my experience. So yes,
and it's connection. And you're learning and you're getting connection. You're not just like broadcasting for somebody else's benefit. Right. It's like exposure.
You always say, Rad, is like, is it extractive or is it is it complement? Is it contributing towards like? And some of these, you have to evaluate that. And I would say anybody listening, like, look at the ROI on it, right? That's the real
exposure. Doesn't put food in your belly. It doesn't pay your mortgage unless it leads to a good connection.
Like, how to evaluate ROI on a conference? Like, what is your takeaway? Like, for me, that event that I went to where I spoke, I met somebody who's probably going to become a paying client.
Nice.
So that's a good ROI.
At least, if you can at least have an opportunity, a connection, and some way that you can like enrich yourself culturally, intellectually, professionally. But I think oftentimes it's not. You're just being, utilized. And so, I think too, if you're putting on something, provide. Oh, Ron says, I think as artists, we can be so focused on the sale, we miss a chance to build community. Yeah, I think that's something that's really, really missed a lot of times too. Artists will be like, oh, I just want to create work. I want to be head down. I want to be as prolific as I possibly can. But, I can speak like to Danko. He's participated. We oh my God, we were doing like 3 to 5 events when we were in LA a week. It was horrible. It was great and horrible at the same time. But because of that, expanded his collector base, expanded opportunities and things like that. So, and we're not, believe it or not, we're not the most social people. we like to stay at home and miss out. We have JOMO. But those opportunities also were so incredible and beautiful and amazing, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. I just wish I could be 2 people.
Right. How do you measure like the success of those events, Nate? Like, do you have like a barometer for like how and where you'll put your time?
Yeah, and it has changed over time as well. And I would say first that from an artist standpoint, I've donated tons of artwork to charities over my lifetime. Yeah. And I have never gotten a sale from that, even though like some big name collectors have come and bought it. The tough part is they've now bought your piece. They have a limited amount to buy. Physical collectors don't tend to be as frequent repeat collectors. I think that's a little different in the digital space. It's one of the great things about it. You can collect unlimited. You don't have this physical capacity issue. For me, I mean, all of the reason I go to these conferences is the kind of the untangible ROI, the human ROI portion of it. This was a great show. I went with very specific intent. I think setting up your intent ahead of time, like, are there artists you want to meet? Are there collectors you want to meet? And putting yourselves in those situations to be able to have conversations. I'm coming back from this one with several people I want to work with on for the publishing company, and some artists that I know I'm going to become a collector of more so now, because I already had liked their work and got to talk to them more in person and hear that. So it does have a quality of benefit. It's very hard to measure, though. I think that's one of the real challenges. So being there, it just make sure that you feel like if you are being asked to do something, like exactly what you were saying, Rachel, that you're getting something back out of it that's going to fill some part of you. Not everything. I think artists are very good at not doing things for money. So measuring that, though, to how much output, how much, if you're introvert, and a lot of artists are, we like to be at home, how much are you sacrificing that? How much time away from family? How much money are you going to spend? So I think it's a very complicated calculation that I think just by having greater intent about what you want to achieve, you can assess whether or not you actually did that. And
I think it's a dance, though, too, because I'm thinking about some artists, and I'm not going to name names, that want to be paid to breathe in and out. And so I am like,
exactly who you're talking about. I'm not going to say
and
that
I'm like,
name.
I have had so many like awesome, huge opportunities that I will not bring to those people, because I'm like, I do not want to deal with this like diva attitude. Nobody else is being paid to breathe in and out. Like people who are far bigger than you, who are far more in demand than you, are humble and willing to like play ball and like do the things because they know that they're ultimately benefiting the most. And so I think there's a balance in there. It's like, don't be too big for your britches,
Right. Everybody has their individual boundaries, but there's a couple of people that we've encountered that exactly what Rad said, like you just wouldn't bring an opportunity to them because
and it just makes me laugh. Well, and it's like, okay, look, I'm personal friends with like Shepard Fairey, who's a big artist, right? The humbleness that man has, he's never like, well, you need to pay me to tweet. Like, you need to like whatever. Like, if it's a good opportunity where he can help other artists, where he can help a cause, he's gonna do it. Like, I don't want to speak for him. I'm just saying, like, this has been my observation. This has been conversations anecdotally that he's had. He doesn't have. I was talking to my neighbor the other day who's friends with Dave Matthews, and like, she was saying how he just like goes to like these kids' schools and like sits and washes dishes and stuff. Like, like think about that. Like just be in that you have a brand to represent as well. Like as an artist, you have a brand to represent. And so do you want to be known as, maybe you want to get paid for every footstep that you take into the world, but at the same
it's
time,
hard though, right?
That's your brand.
In many ways, I admire the hustle. Like I admire the business ethic of people being like, no,
sure,
pay me to tweet. But at the same time, you do start to have that like.
It gets a little ick to me.
It does get a little ick, but yeah.
It's a little like,
Should we move on to one of these news stories before we end up in Clubland?
Yeah, we're fun busters here.
I would love to know thoughts on, and let me pull it back up. But this Doodles news. Did everybody see this?
So,
Doodles.
You want me to read it real quick?
Yeah.
New era in entertainment. Doodles animated NFT film with star-studded cast. The Ethereum NFT series Doodles is making waves with its announcement of an animated film, Dullsville and the Doodleverse, set for summer 2024 release. Featuring a unique blend of music and animation, the project boasts contributions from music legends Pharrell Williams, Lil Wayne, and Coi Leray, promising a groundbreaking storytelling experience. The excitement surrounding the announcement has sparked a significant surge in Doodles NFT sales, showcasing the powerful intersection of digital art, blockchain, and mainstream entertainment. Is that a theatrical release? Do we know?
I don't know, but I'm curious to know what your thoughts are in terms of what this means for the actual NFT, because part of me says means nothing to the NFT. And then you look at something like a Pudgy Penguin and you say, all that drive and hype with the Walmart, did that drive the price point of the Pudgies? I don't know. So I'm curious to know if we feel that this kind of platform actually even impacts the collection. And again, not financial advice.
Not financial advice. Yeah, no. I love
I
it.
still know they tie together.
I don't
Like,
know
look
that
at
they
Kohl's,
tie
for
together.
example. They had the
Yeah.
float at Macy's. They had, all that big visibility. Didn't change the floor price.
Here's the problem is that when they do these initiatives, a lot of these collections, they have bookends. And they don't create anything in between these bookends. And what I mean by that is you have something that's a purely Web3 experience and you have something that's a purely IRL experience with no way to connect those pieces together so that people understand. And so this is one of the things that I've talked about for a long time is about utility that makes sense in an IRL application. So I think in the short term, maybe there might be a bump in sales or something. And again, not financial advice. And it's also interesting to look at the TNC. Like what do you actually get as a holder? Do you have rights like you have in BAYC? Or is it purely still their property and you just have the art? Like what are those terms and conditions? I'm not a holder anymore. And so I don't know and I haven't looked at it, but I will say that there needs to be opportunities between those bookends for there to be, I think, that kind of upward momentum for the collectors and that collection base. What could those things look like? I think it could be distribution based on traits. So if you have characters that showed up in the movie and you're making money off of that, you pay those collectors who hold those traits. I think that you would see a significant jump in the collection. But again, why is that? Because we're drawing a thread between those two bookends of IRL application and Web3. So then people go, oh, wait, now it makes sense. And I think that all of these, like, whatever, blue chip collections should be doing that. I still, in my mind, kind of can't get my head around why CryptoPunk still continues to do well and has, like, a decent floor price. Because, I mean, like, what's the utility besides that, like, dumb Tiffany thing that, like, it's not even like
the utility is the community for CryptoPunk.
The community, yeah, for sure.
They are like tight knit, elevate each other.
Totally. But I mean, outside of that, to make it into like a worldwide brand, because I think ultimately this is, and maybe again, because I'm a brander, to me everything looks like a hammer. My thought is that you want to always try to elevate and expand your brand as much as you possibly can, especially if you have IP attached to it. Now, what are brands that don't have IP attached to it who have to grind all the time that are blue chip brands? Nike. You still have to continue to make really cool shoes and clothes and all this and do partnerships and blah, 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 right? You've got somebody like Disney who doesn't necessarily have to do it, because look, you could draw a corollary to say like Golden Books, right? They haven't made a new thing in like a really long time. They just keep reproducing Golden Books, and that brand is still like solid and people love it and whatever. It still makes its money. So you kind of, I think one of the best ways to do all this stuff is looking at IRL brands who've been around for a long time, reverse engineer that kind of legacy trajectory. And then where do you want to live on that timeline as a brand? And I think that a lot of Web3 brands aren't doing that at all. They're just in the moment. They're being very tactical as opposed to strategic. And again, I don't know these teams. I'm not working with them. I'm just seeing the output that's coming out. And it seems like, oh, we have this opportunity with Lil Wayne and let's do it, or whatever. As opposed to saying like, what is the sustainability regenerative nature of what we're building to make us a legacy brand that's going to last 100 years, that's going to give us this inflection point to be known all over the world and beloved, so that the consumers and the users of this take this on and it becomes their baby and they support and feed this brand.
Nate, any thoughts?
Yeah, lots. I agree with what Rad's saying. I think also that it's hard when you don't know maybe what their longer view is, because I think some of this has to be a long-term view. Like if you look at VFriends, what Gary Vee's doing with his now, and has publicly said wanting to be the next Disney, although he's now changing it to wanting to be something slightly different. But he's got books coming out. He's got stuffed animals. He's got comic books. He's going to have cartoons. He's got mascots at the shows. And he is saying the value to the NFT holders is the long term, or those become valuable because they're the beginning of it. They're the iconic moments of its origin story, just like Superman #1 comic is, to the Superman fans. So I think that is an extremely long view. And as a participant, you have to kind of like figure out, well, where do I want to fall in terms of being a collector? But I think that there's a lot of opportunity for exactly what's Rad's saying, in that bringing and engaging that community. And if I hope Doodles is doing, because I think this is a massive opportunity, and I don't know any of the specifics about it, but there needs to be. I really hope there's a few Web3 music artists in there, because that's such an important and amazing part of the Web3 space. And if they're only bringing in big names and not also at the same time, I understand you need to have big names to have the draw, right, to help bring that duality of spaces together. But if they're not uplifting some of those creators within the same field, then I think that's a missed opportunity. I think if you're not looking at how you can reward your members, royalties is a really tough thing. It's something that we're dealing with. We're wanting to bring brands from Web3 into the publishing industry. And we spent a lot of time building a royalty wallet system that actually allows for that to happen and people to get paid that way. But it's small. Once it gets really huge to the collection size of the Doodles, and it's post origination of that, I think it gets more complicated. Like, how do you retroactively do that? But I think that community and the ability of NFTs to create a reward system that works really effectively, I think is the real golden calf in this situation. And anyone that's not utilizing it and putting all this effort into a single splash, in the pan, it doesn't make sense. So I hope that's actually just a longer version of it, vision that they have. And this is one small piece. And it's hard to say what the next step they have planned is, because hopefully they're thinking several steps down the road. If they're not going to be around for the next steps, but I hope they are.
There's a couple of projects that one particularly that I invested in very early on that I think have tremendous IP that didn't go anywhere, that I would love to see somebody just come and scoop and, do something extraordinary with. It's the Smilesies. Do you guys remember
Oh,
those?
yeah. So beautiful. Beautiful
That
collection.
hurt my heart, that project, because the art was just so good.
So good. So good.
But I think we had some legal issues with some of the items. I think looked a little bit too close to like the Supreme and Nike. So I think there was some concern there, but just amazing IP.
Amazing IP.
We do have the Pudgies.
Yes.
My Pudgy has a Pudgy. Just saying.
Yeah.
So
that's
cute.
they're building up their brand outside. I think they're waiting for that moment where there's bigger crossover between the two spaces, and everyone just has a wallet, just like they have a bank account that's actually a wallet, that they don't even think about it as being called that, and that the ecosystems have less differences and more similarities, and the flow between the two is a lot easier, and that's coming. But I think that positioning yourself for just recognizability within all spaces to start with is very clever. And anything you do to do that moves it forward.
I just want to note that my Pudgy Frank got a hold of him, so it's a little worse for wear.
They got to get that like the hospital like they have for American Girl dolls.
Oh yeah,
my daughter's hair got all fucked up, and I had to take her to the American Girl doll hospital. And I swear to God, they need to have like life medical insurance for how expensive it is to get your American Girl doll fixed.
Really? Oh no!
Outrageous. But
wow.
Did you just like not buy a new one and be like they were wizards and they
make it.
Her.
They're very clever. They make it a whole experience. So you do get a bang for your buck. Like you went down, it was a whole day. You get to have tea while you're waiting. They go in, they do it, they fix the hair, and it's expensive, but they've got a good thing going on.
That's amazing.
It's a racket.
Well, we got 7 minutes left
okay.
on this kind of janky show that we're doing today. But could we talk about one of these other stories?
Mazda.
Yeah, what do you? I don't really see too much substance with this one, but
no.
It's exciting that there's another car brand, I guess, using NFTs. But any thoughts on this? Read it?
Yeah, read it. Yeah.
Let me find it. Hang on.
Or I have it if you want me to do it.
Go for it. Thanks.
Mazda enters the blockchain space with the launch of an exclusive NFT collection, Yoki Origins, in partnership with Astar Network. I hope I'm saying that right. This move marks Mazda's foray into digital storytelling communication, blending Japanese aesthetics with the iconic Mazda MX-5 Miata through a series of NFTs. The collection debuting on Astar's Ethereum Layer 2 symbolizes a new chapter in Mazda's brand story, merging traditional elegance with innovative blockchain technology. So they've got a bunch of like, I don't know, maybe AI images, maybe original images of Mazdas with like, looks like cyberpunk people or whatever. Well, we saw DeLorean flop horribly. And I have, I have thoughts why, because I met I met the people in the VIP suite and I was like, are you the dev? They couldn't answer, even the person I spoke to couldn't answer even the basics of Web3 vernacular. So I think that might have been part of it. But and maybe I wasn't speaking to the right people, but it was like shocking. But anyway, but I think the Mazda thing, Miata people are bananas for Miatas, and they have all these like little Miata clubs and all this kind of stuff. So I think if Mazda was gonna pick a model to do this, Miata is the one to do it. Now, I will also say it seems like the Miata clubs are gentlemen of an older age range oftentimes. So I don't know if that works with Web3. But I will say too, like manga, all like Japanese animation and all that kind of stuff is also wildly popular as well. And so I think it could be, if they do a good job of like storytelling and, access and things like that. What was interesting about DeLorean is with the NFT, it gave you a space and line to have a DeLorean built. Now that I think is a really, really cool use case, because then you could say, okay, well, I minted this thing. I think they were like 2,500 US. And you could say, oh, luck of the draw, I got number 3. Then you can sell that to somebody who's like a DeLorean crazed person who wants number 3 of the new DeLorean rolling off the line. So I think if they did something like that, it would help. But I think you need that connection to real. Like, why are you doing it? Everybody's missing the why. Everybody's getting the how and the what.
I hear you say that in my sleep. We're missing the why.
Yeah.
Nate, since we have you here, do you want to talk a little bit about Fisher? Like what it is? Because you have a really compelling why.
Sure.
Oh,
Thanks.
yes,
Yeah,
so
I'd be
good.
happy to. And it was great getting to talk to artists about it, and some of the new innovations that we're doing. Yeah, so Fair Share, for those that don't know, is a children's book publishing company that I've started. Our first 2 books are going to go on pre-sale. We're announcing on Thursday, so they'll be live to go. They're at the press being printed. Thank you. And it is traditional publishing in that we pay for everything. We do large runs of offset printing, so it's high quality. But it was started out of a long history of witnessing creators not being paid equitably and wanting to make a change in that system, and also transparency. There's a long history of problematic behavior in the publishing industry. And I try not to poo-poo too much on the publishing industry because it's filled with so many wonderful people working in it. But the big 5 companies that dominate it have no desire to change. They operate from a place of revenue. Most of them are publicly traded. One's owned by KKR now, or KPR, the equity firm.
Yeah.
So they're not beholden to the creators and don't seem to have interest in rewarding creators or the consumer. And if we can make a change where creators are actually being able to be paid on a regular basis, paid a fair share, and know how much they're going to get paid because they can see how many books are being sold, that is a change that allows them to spend more time creating more content that's even better and be able to have a sustainable life. I mean, currently they're paid a 7 to 15% royalty split per book. So that's then split between the author and the illustrator. And then the agent usually takes a piece of that as well. So by the time you get down to what their portion coming in is very small, but they only get paid also every 6 months. And they don't know how much they're going to get paid every 6 months. And so that makes it tremendously challenging to buy a house, get a loan, lease a car, any of these things, because it's, you have no idea. You could get 5 cents or you could get, $50,000, because the numbers of sales are not available for public to see. They're very black box. Some don't even ever release them. Like Simon & Schuster was notorious for not sharing any of its financials for a long time.
What?
You could, if you were an author and you thought maybe you weren't getting the right amount, you could audit their books, but then they have in their contracts that if you're wrong, you got to pay for their lawyer and your lawyer. And it has to be past a certain margin of error for them to do anything about it anyway. So what we've done is we've been able to take a blockchain, which is, of course, that great transparent open ledger, track all of our book sales so that everyone can go and see exactly how many books we're selling. We've been able to, we pay our creators 50% royalty fee because our printer also is our distributor. So their API backs into our API on our website platform. And when a book is ordered, it's packed and shipped that same day and it goes directly to the consumer. This also fits into my personal desire to try to have a planet that's left for my daughter. So it's printed in the same country it ships to. It doesn't do all these moves between distribution centers, which are also owned by the publishing houses, by the way. So they are the middlemen that are taking the cut. So we take all of this revenue and savings that we're being able to create just by leveraging technology, and instead of having a point of origin of greed and profit, we have it based towards creating a system of rewarding creators. And so we give that back. And that's how we're able to come up with paying them 50%. And then on the back end, we also have a royalty wallet system. So we allow for micro investors in each book. So like 40 non-transferable tokens are sold for each book. And that helps us cover the large liquidity that's needed to do the offset printing runs. So they're not print on demand. And then those people are actually paid per physical book that's sold. They get a royalty share for each one. And we're working in talks with a couple of people from the Web3 space who have collections and working on ways that we can actually just take that concept of the royalty system, and we're going to use the IP and be able to, like exactly what you're talking about, reward creators and holders of those creations, who hold the rights to those IP, if their characters used, or trying to come up with something very broad and equitably shareable among everybody, but that they actually have, a reason to be excited about the IP they hold. They benefit from that IP. And I want to bring people from both sides back and forth. And then we do a lot of other things. We have a whole metaverse and, a lot of stuff for educators. We have really big, incredible back matter for teachers. So they have whole lesson plans and slide decks, which was created by our incredible education specialist, Krishana Goins, not Day Goins, that's her mom. So just looking at it from a whole different point of view, from, coming from, if you focus on compensating creators, you actually benefit the consumers in the end. That's sort of where we're at. So we're getting to launch our first book. So it's very exciting.
So excited for you, Nate. And folks, make sure you go check it out and give Nate a follow. We have someone else in the studio who's going to come up.
Yes. Surprise. Ah, yay!
Yay!
Yay, Rad.
Did I do this right? Can you hear me okay?
Here. You have to unmic in Twitter.
Okay, I'm off on Twitter.
In X. So you want to put your mic on, and then you want to go to the top of your Chrome tab, File, Edit, View, History, Bookmarks to Tab, and say Mute Site.
But Rhett, you want to unmute in Twitter.
And unmute in Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, unmuted in Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes, you got it.
Hey, I'm here.
Rhett is in the house.
Yay!
Thank you for having me up. It's so good to see you. And Nathan, what an honor to get to. We see each other a lot, but we never really get to talk. And so
yeah, this is a treat. I'm glad you came up. Absolutely. It's not that hard.
Yeah, it took me a minute, but I got here. So
you got it.
So
Now
yeah,
we just need Elon to find a way to make this like one thing where we can just broadcast and it could be, well,
or
it could be seamless.
Farcaster to make it one.
Don't say the F word.
Don't say the F word. Yeah, we don't want to get banned.
So, Red, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm very busy. That's why I was so late to get up on stage. I set my alarm, and but I slept through it, and so I worked really really late, and so and then when I saw that you were doing the video, I'm like, I look like I've been in a rollover, so I had to like put myself together a little bit, so.
Can we see a cat, Rhett? Is it possible for us to see a cat? The cat that likes to talk to us in the spaces.
The first time, Red Cat is very vocal during
very vocal. I just want to put a face with a voice.
He's not in here right now, so I'm not sure. Yeah, but yeah, he likes to be very vocal when I'm on the telephone.
Contribute.
Or or doing a space or something, he likes to come in and talk about it. So he definitely he has like his own way of trying to get into into Web3.
I love it. Red, any good news that you're celebrating personally this week? Anything exciting happening?
Yes, I've been building for, as you know, like some people know, I've been working on new images for NFTs for months and months and months, and then through Artiversary, something that I learned from Black, I had to redo everything that I had worked on because something that he had added, I was just like, it's better, and then I have to start over again, So I went through this thing of where I was going like, but it's good. And then it was like, yeah, but this is better. But you worked so long on it. Yeah, but it was just process, So I finally was just like, fine, just do it all over again. So I'm releasing new work again. And then as some of you know, I had a blessing come my way for a project. And so I'm working on that, and that's what I was working on late, last night. And so I have lots of deadlines, lots of demand on my time, lots of discipline, and so it's been really good for me. But like I'm finding that I'm adulting a lot more than I was.
Amazing.
This is amazing. Well, we are gonna start to wrap it up. Rad, any final thoughts? Or let me even ask, Rhett, would you be willing to do a mindful minute on camera?
Of course, absolutely.
Yay!
Yeah.
But, well, first of all, thank you, Nate, for coming through. This has been so fun, and I hope we can do these video sessions more often. And it's
My pleasure.
so fun, and let us know how we can support you with your rollout this week. We're here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
To
Appreciate that.
spread the word. And Rad, any final thoughts before we throw it to Mr. Rad?
I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us for finally getting this working.
This will be really fun. Like all of our crew know how to do this, and we can actually just replicate what we've done for the space for 2 years.
Yes, and get a big room, get a giant room going. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. The chaos. I think it would be really fun to do a show where you did like a meetup and you got a camera in the room. And so you had a panel. So you got your New York crew all set up and you guys could just do a little round table and just vibe. And
I like it.
And yeah, I think that could be really, really, really cool. But I love this. I love seeing your gorgeous faces, and it helps with the missing you a little more.
Bridging the URL and IRL. We started up a Hyper Club last week, which we're still kind of trying to figure out how to roll this out, but it's essentially like a membership club for the Good News Show that's online. We're going to be expanding it to who knows where, but it is going to have things like meetups in person. There's going to be a swag store. There's going to be monthly meetups on Zoom where we can, help you with whatever you have going on, and we'll host two other things. So I did put that in the comments. But yeah, I think this is fun. We'll be doing more of
Super
it.
fun.
So, Rhett, take us out, Rhett.
I will. First of all, real quickly, Rad, you get the award for Best Sweater of the Month Club. That's
My
really
skier.
great. I love that.
Oh,
Yeah.
are they skiers?
Skiers,
Yeah.
like
Amazing.
bitmap
Oh.
skiers.
You're
Yes.
so PNW now. It's hilarious.
I had this from before. In my defense, I had this from before because I was like, bitmap skiers as a tessellation? Take my money. Thank
For
you,
those who are
Red.
listening, Rhett is wearing a very fetching sweater that has tiny skiing folks. It's
That are
lovely.
like they're like what do you call that? Are they like what do you call that? Bitmap? I'm like, why is my brain? It's like CryptoPunks, but skiers, one color.
They look like Pitfall, the Atari game.
Yes.
Oh,
I have a
wow.
thing for Intarsia sweaters too. Like I have this thing. I really love Intarsia sweaters. So it's a bad addiction. Anyway.
Yeah. So this week, I feel like it's really important to talk about community, and this is for you, Rachel, because what was it, Bueller or Stacy? What was it?
Stacey effing Bueller.
Effing
There we go.
Bueller.
That the fortunate moment when you found some validation and you decided to continue on, and there was a time, like, for those, because we're like in a new venue here, I think it's important to do a brief recap, and that you set out and you were doing a show 5 days a week, and for absolutely blind faith that something could come of this, and you were relentless. It's like you just kept on going and going. And the thing that it wasn't about that made me want to be here was that, one, you were obviously dedicated and passionate about what you were doing, and that's just attractive no matter who you are. But the thing about it is that you weren't trying to build the Rachel Wilkins show. You were trying to build a healthy community, and that you have accomplished. And look where we are right now. And they get me emotional because I've enjoyed being here so much. And one of the things that it's really important that we cannot miss here is that with all of the things that's happening right now, the acceleration is so fast, and that we can't, like I was telling Rad the other day, I said I feel like I'm back in Clubhouse and I'm trying to figure out what an NFT is, and so there's so much stuff to learn. And the thing about it is that it can be very challenging for your mental health. With the technology, the way things have happened, I mean, like the numbers for the youth, of people, not staying here is devastating. And that's also true for, us adults. There's so many things happening. It's very hard to be mindful to take care of ourselves properly, and one of the things that you have done is you have created a community where we can check in on each other. And it's really, really important, especially like in my culture, we are accountable to our clans. Like you start watering out the weeds and, people will slap you back the head. I mean, like you get looked after, and you're not allowed to, to behave poorly for very long, or you get in trouble. And so in a way, that's what we have here. What you've created is that we look out for each other. It's like if we haven't spoke to someone for a while, we haven't seen someone for a while, we're like, oh, hey, are you doing okay? And one of the greatest things, in my opinion, that what you've done is you have created a better place for people who struggle to come and be supported and feel like they're not the lone outlier, that there's people like themselves that are here in a caring environment, that are trying to create, trying to define who they are, redefine who they are. And that is the essence of community. That is the essence of why people gather. And we humans, and we were not built to be alone. We were not built to be isolated. I mean, one of the most devastating things what can happen to you is if you were incarcerated, is to be put by yourself. You literally, your brain starts unwiring, and it's very, very hard to get that rewired back. And so it's, with all this separation that we're experiencing, you have created a place where we can come together and we can recognize ourselves in each other. And that's essential, not just for what you've created, but for anyone that's listening to this, to find your tribe. And it might be a tribe of one, it might be a tribe of three. In this place, in this case, you've created a tribe that is in the hundreds and will continue to go into the thousands. And it's just important, like if you're listening and if you're struggling, and and who isn't at some level, it's like, tell somebody, hey. It's one of the hardest things, because like I personally, I've had clinical depression all my life, and one of the most difficult things that I've ever accomplished is being able to say to someone, I'm having a tough time right now. And just what's interesting is just saying those words, it leaves pressure off of what you're experiencing in the moment. And so it's important, like if you're new to the space, or if you're just you haven't seen us before, just remember the most powerful thing you can do is tell someone who you trust, hey, I need a minute. And it's why we're here, to embellish and nurture and elevate, and it's called love. And so we have to love, we have to self-love, we have to love each other. And thank you, Rachel, for giving us a space, a platform for us to activate that. And that is today's Mindful Minute. I love you all.
Love you, Red. And let's just say that this show is nothing without all of you. Like this is a community show, and it would not be anything if we did not have amazing humans like you and Rad and Nathan and all the wonderful people that come through every week. So love right back at you. All right.
And continue building. We're all here with you. Thank you for elevating all of us. And again, Nathan, I'm so happy to connect with you today.
It's great seeing you too.
All right, folks. It's a wrap. We will be back on Wednesday with our Super Chain Spotlight show. Brooke McBlockchain and I will be breaking down all things Super Chain. So what is the Super Chain? Space, it's optimism, it's Zora, it's all of that fun stuff. So definitely come check us out. And then on Friday, we have a special announcement about a new show that's coming. So keep your ear to the ground on that one. Lots of fun coming up this week. So thanks, everyone. Much love.
Love you guys. This is fun. Thank you, Rhett. Beautiful. Beautiful as always.
Thank you so much.
Always.
So good.
Bye.
Bye.